The Asiwaju of Remo Choir Festival returns this year with its biggest edition yet. Now in its fourth outing, the festival led by former Ogun State Governor Otumba Gbenga Daniel will host over 800 choristers in Shagamu. This year's edition is also coming with a 30 million naira prize, reaffirming the festival's growing impact. Beyond the music, the event is a platform for moral revival and youth engagement, using the discipline of choral performance to promote values and purpose. According to Otumba Daniel, the goal is to build a generation that honors faith, creativity, and community through the gift of song. Joining us for this conversation via Zoom is the music director of the Choir Festival, Dr. Opeyemi Asaolu. Good morning. It's good to have you join us.
Good morning, Veronica. Thank you for having me.
Great. And I'll begin with saying congratulations on the fourth edition of this choir festival. Talk to us about expectations. We know there is a 30 million naira prize reward. What more are participants to expect?
Thank you very profoundly for having me again. This year's choir festival promises to be another interesting one. It's the fourth edition of the program, and aside the 30 million naira prize, which would be spread between the competing choirs and the observing choirs, the choir festival promises to do a kind of follow-up with the choir that would come first at this year's choir festival in so many ways. The first prize this year would be about 5 million naira, and then the second and third between 3.5 and 2.5 million naira, and then other prizes like that. And aside the fact that the observing choirs are meant to come as observing choirs to participate in the congregational singing, they are all going to go home with a prize. You know, all of them, all the 21 choirs that have been invited to observe this year. And another thing that will be a follow-up to this year's choir festival, which will be a precursor to the 2026 choir festival, is the coming together of 20 church choirs in the entire Ogun State. That's just going to be for choirs in Ogun State. You know, that would be about 3 or 4 months before the 2026 choir festival. And then the way we used to have it before now, where we have 6 choirs competing, we have 9 participating this year. And we have choirs coming from Onitsha in Anambra State, choirs coming from Ondo State, choirs coming from Osun State, choirs coming from Lagos State, Oyo State, and of course Ogun State. We have choirs across the country coming to observe, and those are the things we are looking up to have at this year's choir festival.
All right, I want us to look at the criteria you'll be looking at to grade this choir and say, okay, this is why you have won this year's competition and this is why you lost. Could we just take a look at those things you'll be checking out from the choir?
Yeah, we are going to be, thank you very much, Toma. We're going to be looking at the choir directions, how the choirs were able to follow through the instructions given to them. We're going to be looking at sound clarity. We're going to be looking at pronunciation, and of course, we're going to look at poise and stage appearance. These are, you know, the judges have been able to come up with criteria that, you know, can be that is relatable to everyone. You know, they are not technically inclined. That not everyone be be able to, like, okay, see that, okay, well, oh, this is why this choir falter, or this is why this choir comes first in this area. And aside that, we have about 6, and the 7th one is the audience appreciation. We're careful about this. Audience appreciation could be dicey in a situation whereby, because music can be subjective at times. You know, the way you see it could be different from the way other people might see them. And that's why we have judges in place to do their job. And in that realm, you know, we do not give the entire power to the audience to determine, but they have at least a percentage of the criteria to serve as, okay, well, oh, the audience appreciated the performance in this area and all that.
Right, good to know. I'm even fascinated by the fact that, you know, this is going to be like a symphony orchestra, because the beauty of the orchestra for me is the different sounds, the diversity, which reflects on the diversity of the Nigerian, you know, milieu. I'm happy that you said people will be coming from Enugu, coming from different states. How will this resonate with our diversity, looking at what this orchestra is going to, you know, portray in terms of different sounds and everything, blending them together to give us that beautiful tunes?
Thank you very kindly, Ibrahim. The selection this year, we're so particular about our selections. You know, when the selection committee were working on the themes, on the theme for this year, which is with the voice of singing. With the voice of singing happens to be the title of a particular work by Martin Shaw, an English composer. You know, the choirs will be performing that. Then there is this chant, Oni in C major, by late Kayode Oni. Late Mr. Kayode Oni was a fantastic organist who trained in Britain. And when he came back to Nigeria, he worked briefly at the NBC, I think then the Nigerian Broadcasting Corporations. You know, he was a music producer then in the 60s. And then he later became the organist of so many churches in Nigeria, including St. James's Cathedral, Okebola Ibadan, an associate organist at Christ Cathedral, Marina in Lagos. And he retired at Oas Cathedral at Chiaba. But before then, he was the personal organist of the late sage, Chief Obafemi Awolowo. And it was because of him that Chief Obafemi Awolowo was able to purchase the 3-manual pipe organ at Asiwaju Church in Ikene. So we are going to be performing one of his works, you know, that is Oni in C major, you know, to one of the psalms. And then we used to have choice anthem before now.
Dr. Asaolu.
We decided to have an anthem.
Dr. Asaolu.
And the African anthem.
Can you hear me, sir? I need to bring in this question so that you can tie up as you round off your answers this morning, because we don't have a lot of time. You know, first of all, congratulations to you. You've manned this team for the 4th season now, and that's a wonderful feat for you. I used to sing back in the day. Maybe I should be one of the members of this choir, you know. But aside the fact that you want to give, you know, this 30 million naira, take us primarily to what is the exact goal for why this competition was put in place in the first place. What exactly are you trying to achieve?
Thank you very much. The motto of the choir festival is improving the heart of good singing in our churches. And the annual choir festival is driven by a profound purpose to harness the power of music for spiritual and moral growth. That's the essence of the program. And that's one of the reasons why we bring choirs from different backgrounds, from different areas. And like in the follow-up question, answer to the question asked by Ibrahim, that what is the relevance to, or what's the relevance of our cultural inclination to some of the things we're doing? One of the works that we're going to be doing this year is Jesus Na Biggie Man. It's a pidgin English work rearranged by Dr. Mudi Aigbe, who lectures at the Department of Music at the Bayelsa State University in Yenagoa. You know, having that kind of work, you know, performed, it shows the, you know, the African elements that is involved, the syncopation, the occasional heterophony, you know, the African elements are seen in that kind of work.
Interesting. I can only imagine what that sound would be like. I remember that song, Jesus Na Biggie Man. Jesus Na Biggie Man. You know I'm calling small boy. But then I am not part of the choir, unfortunately. I wish I could be there. But congratulations once again, Dr. Opeyemi Asaolu, Music Director, the Choir Festival. Thank you so much for your time.